It was a game that had more yellow cards than attempts on target. That's how tight the game between Manchester City was, and Newcastle United at the Etihad Stadium, the home of the defending champions and treble winners, and the team coached by Pep Guardiola. Welcome to Bowe Sports Arena. My name is Bishop. Let's dive down into that game. You could say it was a tightly contested game. Newcastle now one of the new forces to reckon with in the English game, with the new buys, the new money spent in that team now, new players coming in. They seem very, very solid. And going up against the Manchester City side, who just conquered Europe again in Super Cup, back to their first game at home now, and they had to play against a Newcastle side who have rested for 7 days and playing against them. But that game was tight, it was frantic, it was played mostly in the midfield. Kovacic played with Rodri and Alvarez played with Julian. You had a very tight game. The attackers were not to be found today. The person of Erling Haaland, 34 goal scorer in last season in the English Premier League, could not do anything because it was well marshaled by the solid defense of the Newcastle. Don't forget, last season, Newcastle United and Manchester City were the teams who conceded the least goals in the English Premier League. That means they had the best defense in the league, and they came against each other. And it showed also because, like I said at the beginning, we had more yellow cards than even corner kicks. We had more yellow cards in the game than even shots on target. Newcastle United had 1 shot on target in the whole of 19 minutes, and Manchester City 4 shots on target, and it took just that 1 goal. Julian Alvarez, an emerging star in the football game now, at 23 years old, this guy has won everything. He has won the World Cup, he has won the Champions League, he has won the FA Cup, he has won the everything you can imagine in football. Now that young man has won, and he had to be the one to step in today in the absence of shooting blanks for Erling Haaland. Now when you play 2 strikers, if one doesn't score, the other one scores. And they lost their very influential midfielder now, Kevin De Bruyne, and he had to step up, and what a beautiful goal. Well marshaled, well trapped, and 1 turn, and it was a goal, and bang, it was in the net for Manchester City. 31st minute goal by Julian Alvarez, and that was how that game went. And they were shot on target, they tried their best. The goalkeepers were arguably not busy, in that game. Nick Pope was not playing anywhere, and there were some errors and some mistakes, from the Man City side. You could say it was a result of tiredness. They just came back 2.5 days ago now from Greece, when they played that final, and you could see the players tired, and the coach refused to make any substitution in that whole game until late after Newcastle United had made 5 changes. Man City played a whole 95 minutes and did not make 1 change. At some point, the coach also had an issue with some of the fans who were telling him to make some change, and he said, "If you notice that you do, come and sit down on my bench." It was that tight and that frantic for that game. Now I could see respect that Man City understood that Newcastle are now an emerging force, and you see every player taking good care of the game. Now the young lad called Phil Foden was the marshal in that game now, who came to replace Kevin De Bruyne in that midfield, and he was everywhere, and he was named man of the match. There was no much action in that game, just that 1 goal scored by Julian Alvarez, and that was it. There were just defensive tackles, there were long balls played from both sides. Now there were misplaced passes from both sides. I would not say this is a perfect Manchester City performance, because I did not see any beautiful game play from Man City, who could only play tiki-taka. At some point, Newcastle took over the game and had 80% possession for 10 minutes. You can imagine, how can you come to the City Stadium and have that level of possession? It shows you that they were tired. The game, you don't have it all you can have, how you want to have it all the time. They were weak, and I could say that this the game that took place today was one of the games I thought would produce loads and loads of goals. City running riot against the Newcastle side of Newcastle play, the counter-attacking play they can play always, but I didn't see that. It was a well-balanced game, played around the midfield. Goalkeepers didn't have much saves to make, strikers didn't have more shots on goal. It was a dry match, but you can say at the end of it, Manchester City coming out with a win 1-0. That is what champions are made of. We don't play well, but we end up getting the result. And they've won back-to-back games now. 6 points in the English Premier League. Just them and one other team now that are flying on top of the table. And that is how it went in that game. Don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook page at Bowe Sports Arena, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Bowe Sports Arena, where we'll give you sports analysis like you've never seen before. Football is back. all leagues are on full throttle now. We're going to be talking about that as we go, during this whole season. Till I see you again, my name is Bishop.